Welcome to Movie Momentum. Have you ever watched a movie that you loved but later found out that it was a huge flop at the box office? You're not alone. So how did these movies go from flops to favorites? Find out in this video.
Get busy living or get busy dying. That's goddamn right.
This famous quote hitting the hearts of millions is from a classic movie that's all about the power of friendship and hope in tough times. Featuring Tim Robbins, Morgan Freeman, and Bob Gooden, this movie revolves around a successful banker who lands in prison for a crime he didn't commit, but he finds a way to make life behind bars meaningful and even form solid friendships. The main man befriends this wise old-timer called Red, and their bond is truly something special. But can you believe this $25 million film only made $28 million domestically?
The first rule of Fight Club is, you do not talk about Fight Club. The second rule of Fight Club is, you do not talk about Fight Club.
We all remember this mind-boggling movie featuring Edward Norton. This movie's about the struggle with insomnia and emotional turmoil. He finds a kindred spirit in Marla, the fabulous Helena Bonham Carter, but things take a wild turn when he connects with the enigmatic Tyler, aka Brad Pitt. Suddenly, they're into underground fight clubs and soap-making shenanigans. It's a roller coaster ride of love, power, and a whole lot of mayhem. Unfortunately, this $65 million flick only raked in $11 million at its debut and topped out at $37 million in the US box office.
I am not those men. I am Salahuddin. Salahuddin.
Remember King Baldwin IV? Well, that movie was the journey of Baldwin, the village blacksmith, portrayed by Orlando Bloom, who was still reeling from his wife's passing. However, he joined forces with his estranged father, Baron Godfrey, played by Liam Neeson, for a crusade to Jerusalem. Once there, he faced off against the likes of leper King Baldwin IV, portrayed by Edward Norton, and the treacherous Guy de Lusignan, played by Martin Sokus. Surprisingly, this iconic and epic flick only pulled in $47.4 million in North America, despite costing a whopping $130 million to make.
I can't remember when anyone else did either. Because really, since women stopped being able to have babies, what's left to hope for?
Remember when humanity faced a serious crisis with infertility, pushing us to the brink of extinction? That's when Theo Ferron, a disheartened bureaucrat played by Clive Owen, unexpectedly becomes the key player in the battle for humanity's survival. But even though this movie is hailed as one of the best of the 21st century, it only brought in $70 million worldwide and a measly $35 million in the US, while the production cost a hefty $76 million.
Spain's fate hangs at the whims of a merciless enemy. You dare taunt us with these pagan yarns?
Tommy, a scientist portrayed by Hugh Jackman, grapples with the concept of mortality. His quest for a groundbreaking medical discovery fuels his desperate bid to save his wife, Izzy, played by Rachel Weisz, from cancer. Well, despite a budget of $35 million, the movie only managed to gross $16 million worldwide. This might just be the most colossal disappointment in Aronofsky's career.
16 months, you can get used to anything. You just lose track.
Casting Cillian Murphy as Kappa, the movie's about the Earth facing its demise as the sun approaches its end. To counter this impending catastrophe, a team of 8 people set out for a space expedition aiming to utilize a device that could rekindle the dying star. However, mishaps, critical errors, and a distress signal from a long-lost spacecraft throw the crew into disarray, imperiling their crucial mission. Sadly, this $40 million production only managed to yield a meager sum of just over $3 million at the US box office.
What have you done? I'm so sorry. We're both sorry. I was telling her the story.
It just fell out of my hand.
We'll search and find
We can
another
pay
one,
for
I
a
promise.
new one.
Quiet!
This movie, with Jennifer Lawrence in the lead, is all about her house getting trashed by a bunch of unruly guests. It's a real head-scratcher, and not everyone was keen on it. Yet, shelling out $30 million, this movie didn't quite hit the big time. With all the gore and trippy filming, it was a hard sell for most folks, landing at just $18 million at the US box office.
Sometimes to love someone, you gotta be a stranger.
Officer K, played by Ryan Gosling, stumbled upon a long-hidden secret that could throw society into disarray. This sends him on a mission to track down Rick Deckard, portrayed by Harrison Ford, a former Blade Runner who vanished 3 decades ago. The follow-up to the 1982 classic didn't even hit the $100 million mark despite costing around $150 million to make. Still, it's hailed as one of the most forward-thinking studio films of the decade. But the good news is an Oscar win for Roger Deakins' cinematography. And that wraps up our journey through movies that defied box office expectations. Which one of these flop movies is your favorite? Let us know in the comments. Until our next cinematic exploration, farewell and see you soon!